Despite trying their hardest to deflect attention away from the Epstein files, the bad news just keeps coming for the Trump administration.
Did I personally direct what investigation?
Of the Epstein records for any reference to President Trump?
Again, you are citing reporting that I think is baseless. We conducted an investigation of the Epstein case files pursuant to the direction of the President of the administration to provide all credible information, and we are working with Congress pursuant to a congressional subpoena to turn over all the documents we can. All individuals.
Who at DOJ and FBI was responsible for its drafting and conclusions?
Many individuals at the Department of Justice and the FBI are responsible.
There was no lead person?
The Attorney General leads the Department of Justice, and I lead the FBI.
So the Attorney General was responsible for that?
The Attorney General leads the Department of Justice.
You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
You clearly won't tell us the cabinet members associated with Mr. Epstein. Let me ask you one last question. And that is, right after she gives this testimony in front of an FBI agent, among others, she's transferred to a minimum security prison not suitable for a sex offender like herself. Who made that decision and why?
The Bureau of Prisons.
The Bureau of Decisions made it in
prisons.
The Bureau of Prisons decided on their own, without any consultation with Blanche or anyone else, that they were going to suddenly, after this interview, completely unrelated to this interview, completely unrelated to anything she said, move her to a prison not suitable for a sex offender. You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No, I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of inmates.
Not in the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of California. We are bringing historic reform. Point of order. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said I'm the most transparent FBI director in history. 33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Be quiet.
We are in the final boss battle right now for Donald Trump's supporters versus reality. They've had to face, there have been many tests so far with they're eating dogs and cats, and and the exaggerations were spent. We gave them $350 billion, and I've gotten $17 trillion in investment. Reality has always been on tenuous footing. But this latest Epstein letter may be the final boss battle in the war on reality. If you recall, there was a 50th birthday for Jeffrey Epstein because, it's a big birthday for pedophiles, 50. That's when you really begin to think to yourself like, hey, am I going to turn this thing around, or am I really just a piece of shit? And he went piece of shit. But they had a birthday party for him, and everybody, it's one of the creepiest birthday books you can ever imagine. Half of it is just, drawings of Jeffrey Epstein giving balloons to little girls and then getting massages from naked girls and other people, nod, nod, wink, wink, a little check for the depreciation of a female. And then, of course, there was the infamous Donald Trump letter, which was a drawing of a woman's breasts at the top and then a little poem and then a Donald Trump signature. And he had said, of course, that doesn't exist. That's bullshit. I'm suing Rupert Murdoch because Rupert Murdoch very infamously very much against Donald Trump and all things that he does. All of Rupert Murdoch's properties work diligently to prevent Donald Trump from taking over. So it doesn't exist. And then so the Congress went to the Epstein estate, which, God, what a shitty job that has to be. Like, what do you do for a living? I work with an estate. You know, we do a lot of categorizing of properties and things. Which estate is that? I don't want to really get into. It's Jeffrey Epstein.
I got to ask you about this Fox News report by Jackie Henrich, the White House correspondent, who says you and Cash are under fire, political fire, that she reports the White House, Pam Bondi, Todd Blanchard, deputy, have no confidence in Kash Patel, citing one source. Pam in particular cannot stand him, Blanche either, they said, referring to Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche. Bondi and Blanche denied the characterization. White House officials denied any plans to remove Director Patel. But the headline is that knives are out for Kash Patel. It ends with something about you, Dan, saying three sources also point out Dan Bongino's days are more likely numbered than Patel's, as he threatened to quit amid fallout from the Epstein feud with Bondi. I want to give you a chance to comment on those two pieces.
Megan, I don't even... So just to be clear, I've read the report. I spoke to Jackie. Everyone on the record you just cited, on the record, said the exact opposite. You can read the report yourself. So just to be clear, an off-the-record person who was not willing to put their name to any of this, who may not like what the director and I are doing here, off the record, said, wow, these guys are in a lot of trouble. On the record, everyone from the president to Todd to Pam to everyone else says the exact opposite. So your story, not you, but the story's what? Knives are, where are the knives?
Donald Trump might have been right that he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose any support, but a lot of people seem to have drawn the line at his alleged dealings with Jeffrey Epstein, and you could tell that the administration is panicking. House Speaker Mike Johnson actually suggested that Donald Trump was an FBI informant before having to almost immediately walk that one back.
What do you mean by that? All right. What I was referring to in that long conversation was what the victim's attorney said. More than a decade ago, President Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, and he was one of the only prominent people, as everyone has reported, not President Trump, but everybody about him, that he was willing to help law enforcement go after this guy who was a disgusting child abuser, sex trafficker, all the allegations. That's what they heard. So the president was helpful in that. I don't know if I use the right terminology, but that's common knowledge, and everybody knows that. So this is much ado about nothing.
Did the president tell you this specifically about his involvement?
I said, I was recounting what others have said. The president and I have talked about the Epstein evils many times. He's as disgusted by it as everybody else. He has long had a history of acknowledging that, and he has said repeatedly he wants everything to come out, all credible information, everything for the American public to decide.
He's made that quite clear.
Mike Johnson, he came out and said that the president was an FBI informant. Do you know what he meant by that, if it's not true?
I can affirm that is not true. I think the speaker was referring to the fact that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago property for reasons the president has already discussed.
Republicans have built so much of their base on conspiracy theories and making wild and unsubstantiated claims about other people, but the tables have now turned. The Epstein case is following Trump wherever he goes, with communities and countries covering billboards and buildings with images of Trump and Epstein together. The pressure is on, and with increasing momentum to release the files, it'll be interesting to see how quickly Trump's allies end up turning on him.